Matt here from Automio, and I just wanted to put a quick video together in answer to a conversation I just had with one of our early adopters. This is around strategy. It's one thing to know how to use the tools and how to add points into a flow, but in terms of how your own workflow is going to work out, there's a couple of different options that you have, and it depends on sort of what you're trying to achieve and at what point you are in the process. So I'm just going to make a new flow. And in this case, I'm going to assume that you're not working from an existing sort of document that you're trying to make, but instead you're just trying to capture your own thought processes and trying to automate that process, even if you don't know exactly what the output is going to look like yet. So in this case, this is going to be called my expert process. Now, in this case, your best bet is to just start and think about all of the things that you would normally do, all the questions that you would ask of the customer or of your staff in order to figure out what it is that's going on in this particular case and what needs to be done. So in this strategy, we're going to basically just use a lot of branches, a lot of just questions. So my suggestion is here: go through and ask every single question that you can about the process, and put all those answers in line, and essentially just ignore what's going to happen with the output until closer towards the end. You just, in other words, think about what it is that you're gathering before you think about how you want to present it. And so then once you've got these fleshed out and you know what these particular answers and questions are, then you start to think about, okay, so in that case, when they've arrived here, they've told me this and they've told me that, then that's when we're going to need to have this particular paragraph added, or this particular chunk of text added to the last paragraph. So in other words, kind of a two passes through. First, just the questions, maybe test the interview and see if it's gathering all the kind of things that you're after, and then work the output points into that flow. Once you've got that structure in place. So that's sort of if you've got a process without really fully understanding how, what the output's going to look like. Now, on the other hand, you might have a document first. And so before we have our import tools that'll allow you to bring in some text from existing types of documents, we could just start like this, and we'll say this is new from a document. So in this case, you have a better idea about what you're trying to make before you even know how you're going to answer or how you're going to gather the information to populate it with. So in this case is where I would start with output points first, where you start off with your main section that has the title of your document and then kicks off with a paragraph, giving that section some text, and then giving your paragraph some text, and then just carrying on making sections. So this might need a section underneath that first parent section, and in which case it's going to show that it's nested by having an incrementing number, 0 being at the top level, and then as these numbers grow, they get deeper and deeper down into the nesting of sections, and then so that section itself will have its own paragraph potentially, and then you might get to a point where you go, okay, well, we're going to have a snippet of text that gets included in one case or another, and you might just include that as a text, knowing that that's going to get added to that previous one in one case, and then maybe you have the other. That that's going to change depending on some answer that the customer gives you, but you're not exactly sure how that's going to change yet. So then you just carry on. After that part, you're going to need this paragraph and this section. In other words, basically structure your whole document, assuming that this is sort of the top of the document and you're just working your way down without any branching. And by publishing one like this and not asking any questions, you can go through the interview process. It won't ask you anything. It'll just say it's all done. It'll just shoot through to the dead end and spit out the output. You can see an overview of what your whole document's going to look like, and then go, oh, okay, yeah, where I have that one part, that's where I'm going to need to have a branch that asks them, are you an A or a B situation? And then once you've got that branch, you could say, okay, yep, that was the text in case A, but in case B, I have a different piece of text, and so I might even copy some of that text from inside of this one and then paste it into here, or I might copy that whole point and paste it here, or start with a totally different point if it's different enough. And then I know that I want to carry on to this one, so I'll just make my jump here. so that after it's included that piece, it's going to go and include this, and then I'm back to a single track. So basically just two approaches overall to making a document. On the one hand, just going along with your processes and starting with the questions and the answers, and in another case, getting all the output in there first. If I just show you pulling back, like getting all that output in a very basic format so that you know what that document's going to be, and then adding your switches and your branches in, and adding the complexity in. So just two different approaches to achieve a similar outcome.